2 years ago, elections in Germany were essentially about migration. A few days ago, elections were essentially about climate change. The world is waking up for climate change, and this is the best ally we have at the present moment to force governments to take measures, because we need to avoid at all costs it becomes irreversible not to be able to contain climate change at 1.5 degrees at the end of the century, which means we need to be carbon neutral in 2050 if we have to reach that goal.
You were referring to the performance of green parties across the EU in recent EU parliamentary elections. They surged in places like Germany and France, in Northern Europe as well. Do you take heart at that the political will is growing from the bottom up, from the electorate up?
But that is clear. I mean, you see the youth movements everywhere. And the question is not whether one party gains more votes or not. The question is that the issue that was central in the debate during the elections was, for instance, here in Germany, climate change. Now, as I mentioned, 2 years ago, everything was about migration. So the world is changing. The perception of the risks are changing. This will be forcing governments to take action, because this is clearly now something public opinions are feeling as a defining issue of our time and the major threat to the planet.
Yeah, we're seeing that happen across Europe. We're seeing countries like France, like Jamaica, like China stepping up. But China is stepping up in ways that America is not. You know, how challenging is it to fight the climate fight when the top global players aren't even on the same page?
But look, the United States is not only the US government. You see a fantastic reaction of cities, of businesses, of the civil society. We see governors taking measures. I am quite optimistic about the capacity of the American society also to be a fundamental partner in relation to climate change in the future. As you said, this is now from the grassroots coming up. This is coming from the public opinion, from the people. And so governments sooner or later will be forced to move in the right direction.
So are you saying in regards to the United States, we don't need President Trump to win the war on climate change?
What matters more and more is not what each government says. What matters more and more is the strong feeling that the people is expressing. And as I said, that feeling sooner or later will inevitably force governments to act.
Okay. I wanted to ask you about Greta Thunberg, the Swedish teenager, the activist who has inspired this massive climate protest movement. You met her this week. What was that encounter like, and does she and her generation give you hope?
I think it's a fantastic demonstration of how young people understood that this is the central question of their lives. And this message is so sincere, is so strong, it's having a huge impact all over the world. You see young people reacting, following her, and she became a very important opinion leader in the world, and that is very good news.
UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres, thank you so much for joining us. Take care.
It's a great pleasure.